I always say that whenever we become mothers, and I think the first thing that gets we become very susceptible to is guilt. Always has to be a question of choice in
Hmm.
any domain and sphere of a woman's life, particularly. If it is her choice that she wants to be at home to be with her child, that's her choice.
कहते हैं ना कि माँ हर मर्ज की दवा है हमारे लिए। माँ के कई रूप हैं। माँ हंसती भी है, माँ रोती भी है, माँ समझाती भी है, माँ गुस्सा भी करती है। लेकिन टीवी और बॉलीवुड ने ना माँ को स्टीरियोटाइप करके रख दिया है कि माँ तो सिर्फ बेचारी है, माँ तो सिर्फ घर का काम करने के लिए है, माँ सिर्फ रोती रहती है। But Har Zindagi is trying to break such stereotype with the campaign Ma Beyond Stereotypes. This Mother's Day, we are talking to different celebrity moms to talk about their motherhood journeys. So today, we have Shiba Chadda ji to talk about her own motherhood journey. So let's welcome Shiba ji. So hello Shiva ji, welcome to Har Zindagi and thank you for joining us with our campaign Ma Beyond Stereotypes. We have started this campaign for this Mother's Day. It's an honor to have you on our series.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
So, Shivaji, I would really like to know about your motherhood journey first. So, how it has been like?
I think there's no way to say it in sentences, yeah, into finite sentences. What has it been like for any mother? It's not possible to put it in words, I think. And I think every mother's journey is a very mixed journey always. I doubt there's any mother who can say it's like just like the easiest or the breeze. And I think those are stereotypes which certainly for one need to get broken, because I don't think parenting is an easy job. And I'm sure most parents are going to be with me on that. So it's a mixed journey, yeah. It's just there's no joy like this, and I think it can bring the deepest sorrow as well, because of just how strong the connection is with your child, yeah, for any parent.
Being a mother, it's like society makes you feel like, oh, you have to be perfect. You can't afford to do any kind of mistake. So, did you feel that any kind of pressure you had to be a perfect mom?
I think that's one thing that, again, most mothers, I can't speak for fathers so much, but I'm sure most mothers go through, which is, I always say that whenever we become mothers, and I think the first thing that gets we become very susceptible to is guilt. I think it's we really become like guilt gluttons the minute we become mothers, I think. So because we want, I think, no area of our lives with our child which should be where the child should not have the best of what I as a mother would have to offer, or the best, or what the best I can bring to the table. Sometimes we forget that what we're trying to bring to the table is our best, and that's the best. And it can't be that one's best, or my friend's best, or my child's friend, the mom's best. It can only be my best, and I have to be okay with that. So yeah, I mean, I think guilt is a very big one, and of course, I think we really try to sort of in every area of our child's growth. I think we try to keep be vigilant of it and try to bring our best to it, to help the child, to nurture the child, to be there for the child, to just nurture. Yeah, so yeah, to try to be perfect is there, but I think it's a trap. That's all. Yeah.
So, have you ever felt like that you had that kind of a guilt because you are from that industry where you have to travel for shoots and where you have to be away from your kid? So, did you feel that kind of guilt?
I still do. My daughter's 18 now, and I still do. It's like I've just come back from travel, and I am going to travel now after about 2 weeks more, and it's never easy. Even now, after years and years of doing it, even now it's really difficult. And then it's like I'll come back, and then I'll want to spend all my time with her. But that's also not okay, because she can't be expected to put everything on hold and now because I'm free. So I think I give her a little bit about that, which I have to correct, which she always points out to me. It's still today. It's a difficult one.
Like, do you think that it's okay to have that guilt? Because sometimes as a mother, I think mothers are so giving and they're like caregiver. They don't think about themselves at times. They just forget everything and they're just, oh, I have to do everything about my kids and my family. So do you think, isn't it right to have a bit of time for yourself?
I think it's critical that we have time for ourselves. I think it's critical that we put a lot of effort in our self-care, which I am saying for myself. I sometimes let that take a back seat. And there are enough studies now. Yeah, there's so much information now everywhere we look, and most of the one thing that's consistently coming through is that the greatest thing that we can give to our child in terms of nurturing is a mother's happiness. Literally, a happy mother with a balanced well-being is the biggest contribution to a happy child, which makes all the sense. And yet, it is not so easy to do. And I think as mothers, very often we lose focus about this one thing. I try to, but a lot of times other things in my head take more priority at a certain time, and then I can sometimes put that a little bit on the back. But it's always in my head that I need to be very vigilant about my self-care if my child is to be okay. But it's a tough one. It's a very tough one. I must say that. Yeah.
So, how do you manage your personal and professional life? How do you do that? As you told that you'll be again going for the shoot. So, how do you manage that then?
I think that's every working mother. Yeah, everybody struggles. There's no one baseline. Sometimes that time when you're traveling will be easier. Sometimes it won't be because of where it's life. Everything is changing all the time. There's no fixed one thing, that's, there is a balance. There's a constantly fluctuating balance. Yeah. You always try to arrive at a balance or semblance of a balance, but it'll never be steady. It'll always be up and down. So each trip comes with its own ups and downs. Like that, yeah.
So, Shivaji, you have played roles of mothers in different movies and series. So, do you think that portrayal of mother has been very stereotypical in almost movies? Likewise, we have been seeing that mothers in TV serials specifically, mothers have only been shown, they're just for cooking only. They're not to do financial stuff. They just are there to do household chores. So what do you have to say that these portrayal of mothers impact somewhere in the life of real life of the moms?
So I think we are certainly aware now, and I'm sure you are as well, that that's not quite how mothers are portrayed in the media also anymore. I'm sure a lot of stuff now lately that we've watched over quite a few years, where there's absolutely there are different perspectives and different spectrums in the spectrum, the different roles that are very much being sort of written and portrayed. We know that that typical mother which you just described is a thing of the past. Not that it's not there anymore, not that it's not there in our cinema anymore, not that it's not there in our lives anymore. Of course it's present, because our conditioning is just so deep-rooted and goes such a long way back. But of course, we also are very well aware now that there's a completely open discourse about it. There are new ways of looking about it. There's a dialogue that's out there about how this cannot be the only one two-dimensional stereotype or a concept of the mother that we have been fed either in our lives, or we've been sort of hardwired with, or we are fed in what we consume in terms of content. It cannot be, and now we're seeing that. So we obviously know that, and obviously because cinema or any kind of content has such a strong, we're very well aware it's got a very strong impact on us. Yeah, it impacts us, subconsciously, consciously, so strongly.
So, Shivaji, how do you choose your roles as a mother to play on screen?
We're not content creators. We as actors we have to make a choice out of what is presented to us. So when you're saying I have portrayed strong mothers, it's because that content was presented to me. If it wasn't presented to me, there's no way I can portray it, right? So choice is like, if I get a choice of being that kind of mother and a mother that's sitting in the kitchen and just dying of guilt and duty, of course I'm going to pick the other one, which is offered to me. But finally I can only take from what is offered to me. That's what I'm saying. And the discourse is widely, it's expanded, it's become bigger, and we are seeing these kind of portrayals, and we should keep it going, like keep the discourse going, and keep on adding more and more layers to it, and keep opening and unfolding it more and more, because there's endless scope there, and what kind of a human being makes, what kind of a mother, or what kind of mothers are there possible, because there are all kinds of mothers, as there are all kinds of reasons, So it's a very, very powerful role for any woman to essay in her life. And there's no one coat that fits all, there's no one size that fits all. Everybody's mother will be different. There will be commonality, but still there will be such a wide spectrum of difference that we have enough scope now to talk about that, because that's what makes it authentic and real, and that's how we associate, with this reality.
What do you like exactly for you? What does it means like to go beyond stereotypes?
Exactly what I just said, which is that we are all hardwired to stereotypes, not just as actors, but as human beings. Women particularly, being the product of a very strong patriarchal system, which we don't even realize how deep it runs. Just how deep it runs. So we are very, very prone to playing out stereotypes in life, not just on screen, but in life. So only constant vigilance and constant evolution, that's the only way forward, otherwise we'll just be doing the same thing and speaking the same language and talking the same syntax and just putting the same thing out in our lives as well as on screen. So just by constantly unpacking the amazing marvel that it is to be a mother, and with genuine contemplation, with genuine attempt at looking at it in newer lens and newer eyes, because there is enough, there's an endless possibility of what is possible to portray of motherhood.
So Shibaji, the thing is, there are some families, there are mothers existing in society who are actually pressurized to leave their work and leave their job. Oh, you have given a birth to a baby now your total responsibility is just to take care of your babies. Now you shouldn't work, or if you'll go for the work, then your baby would be spoiled, or baby's care would be hampered. So what do you have to say for that kind of society, or those people who actually pressurize mothers to leave their job and just sit at home and just be the caregivers?
I think we all know the answer to that. Such a rhetorical question asking. We know the answer. The answer is I don't think anybody has really expected to condone that. And yet it's a real thing. Having been a mother, I am aware there is very specific kind of care that the child needs, and a mother is very, very instrumental and most poised in one way to give a particular kind of care to a child, which a father, in my opinion, is not capable of. That we are aware of that. So I'm all for the thing of, if you can, for a little bit of time post childbirth, the time from feeding, or create a situation where you also take your child with you, because I think the closeness to a child immediately after birth for a while, I think, is wonderful for a child. That does not mean that a woman, if she wants to, or if she has to, for her, from herself, not has to, for some internal pressure, should not start work or start working, because it always has to be a question of choice in any domain and sphere of a woman's life, particularly. If it is her choice that she wants to be at home to be with her child, that's her choice. And if she is her choice that she wants to take a baby along to work, or be okay to even not be with the baby or figure out. Of course, yes, I don't think any mother is going to do the child just randomly and not doesn't go away. Very unusual, I think. But the thing for me is a thing of choice. That the woman has to have a choice to exactly negotiate how she wants to her motherhood, mothering experience. And again, I'm saying it's very tough to sometimes sort of segregate because we are hardwired for stereotypes so strongly.
I would really like to ask you this, and that you could advise or give a message to all the mothers who are actually trying to fit in that mold of being a perfect and a good mother. Just a message or advice.
No advice, yeah. I can just say from my experience that it helps to be kind to yourself. We hear this line all the time, but genuinely it helps to keep yourself happy, keep yourself engaged, and don't stop your own inner life. We tend to see that as mothers. We put our other life, our other selves, many selves within us, sort of we hang it up for a bit. I think it works that everything should go side by side, should travel together, and that I think will always help the child a lot. Yeah, and I don't know, to keep your head above water. Yeah. So that's the best sometimes being a mother. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shibaji, and wishing you a very, very happy Mother's Day. May you have this Mother's Day spent well with your daughter this year.
Thank you so much. Thank you.